Welcome to Mr. Biz Radio, biz talk for biz owners. During the next half hour, Mr. Biz, Ken Wentworth, a leading business advisor and two-time best-selling author, will cover topics that'll help business owners run their companies more profitably and more efficiently. If you're ready to stop faking the funk and take your business onward and upward, this show is for you. And now, here's Mr. Biz, Ken Wentworth.
All right, welcome to another episode of Mr. Biz Radio, and we're still working out some kinks here, but I'm happy to report that we are recording the show from the very first time from our brand spanking new studios here at Mr. Biz Network, and part of our new streaming channel. So it's our first Mr. Biz Radio, actually our first recording, let alone first Mr. Biz Radio at the new studio. Still working out a few kinks. I got some microphone issues we got to work out, and a little bit of lighting. I think it's generally okay, but we'll get it down. And progress, not perfection. My good friend Jason Case always says, progress, not perfection. So we're gonna make it happen today. And I'm excited about the topic because here we are. It's the beginning of 2022. I'm sure a lot of you have goals, resolutions. I know a big thing this year has been people were talking about they're having a word for the year. That they're going to focus on instead of resolutions or anything like that. I still think it's very important to set goals. And so what I wanted to do with this show today was to give you some tips to make sure that 2022 is your best year ever. And I'm calling it the top 12 for 22, the top 12 for 22. So that's why you see we got the fancy little background here for 2022, celebrating New Year. But I wanted to get into that a little bit and talk about some of the things. Again, these 12 things you need to do. Some of these are specific to business. Some of them are, more on the personal side. And then some of them are sort of a mix of both, right? You can apply them to both your personal and business side of things. So with all that said, let's get going with the top 12 for 22. So the first one I want to mention here, and I got my cheat sheet notes here, but the first one I think is super important. And when you start the year, and I tried to kind of make these in order, but it's difficult because they're all so critically important. But this first one is to say yes to opportunities. And what I mean by that specifically is we oftentimes, it's just sort of human nature, I think, honestly, especially as we age a bit, that we become a little bit resistant to change. Even though we try to fight that, we become a little bit resistant to change. And that is not the way we want to be. We want to say yes to opportunities. You may, if you listen to the show often, one of my Mr. Biz tips of the week that I've used for the last several years, and we've shared it, is to start with yes. And that's what I mean by this one. So say yes to opportunities. When someone presents you with an opportunity, and it could be a myriad of different types of opportunities, not just on the business side of things, don't immediately think about how it won't work. Think how it will work. And then you can decide from there, what's it going to take to make it work? And then maybe the answer ends up being no, but start with yes. Try to not say no, right? Try to really keep that out of your vocabulary, at least initially. So that's the first one. All right, I'm going to speed up a little bit because I want to make sure we get through all 12 of these. Along the same lines with the start with yes with opportunities and say yes to opportunities is don't be afraid to fail. And again, I hate to use that F word, not the F word, but the F word fail. Really failure or shortcoming, shortfalls, I look at them as they're an ingredient of success. They're not a detriment to success, right? No matter how skilled you are going to have setbacks. Not everything's going to go exactly as planned. You're going to have setbacks, and that's going to lead you to success, right? Because you're going to learn ways to not do things. Oh my gosh, that didn't work. So let's try this, right? So you need those shortfalls, those failures to get to success ultimately. So very important to keep in mind with that. It's, again, people look at failure too harshly, I think. And that's what makes people say no, going back to number one, is they're afraid to fail. They're afraid to fall short. And so then they start saying no to things, right? Because they only want to cherry pick things that they're really good at, or that they are sure they're going to be successful. That doesn't get you out of your comfort zone. That doesn't make you think outside the box. That doesn't present new opportunities for you, right? So you have to really think about that, and don't be afraid to fall short, to fail, frankly, on some things, because it's going to happen. Get your mindset wrapped around it's okay to fail. Sarah Blakely, you guys have heard me mention her many times before. She founded Spanx, actually just recently, a couple months ago, sold it. controlling interest in it. She still, I think, is involved. But she talked about when she was a little girl that when they would sit down for dinner, that her dad would ask her and her brother, "What did you fail at today?" Now, that seems to be an odd question to ask children, right? Because you want to promote positivity and success and all this other stuff. But he would ask them, "What did you fail at today?" And if they didn't have anything to present that they had failed at or they'd fallen short on, he would challenge them. That means you didn't get outside your comfort zone. That means you didn't try new things. And I think it's an important lesson. Clearly, it, I don't know, worked really well for her. She started Spanx with $5,000, sold a controlling interest into it for over $1 billion. Very successful person. If you don't follow her, by the way, on social media, her and her husband, Jesse, I strongly suggest that they are amazing people, amazing parents, things they share on social media and everything. They're very transparent about their life, personal life, as well as business. As a matter of fact, they're probably a little less transparent about their business life than they are about their personal life and how they're parenting and their shortcomings and failings as a parent. So that's the second one. And I definitely have to speed this up. I'm going to make up some time here, but the third one in the top 12 for 22 to ensure your success. And this was a business one specific. And some of you who have listened to the show before know this one, so I won't belabor it too much, but is focus on eliminating the silent business killer. For those of you who are not familiar, shame on you, but you can go out to our YouTube channel, go out to MrBizNetwork.com. You can see some of the old videos that I've talked about the silent business killer. I've been interviewed about it a bunch of times. Silent business killer is a product or service that you have that is at best break even, but in most scenarios, it is actually losing you money every time you provide that service. Every time you sell that service or product, you're actually losing money. I call it the silent business killer because, of course, Mr. Biz, why would I purposely have a product like that? Well, you wouldn't purposely have it. That's why I call it the silent business killer. You don't realize you have it. And oftentimes that's the situation where your revenue or your sales are going up, but you're losing more and more money. It's like you're running in quicksand, right? It's a terrible position to be in. So really focus on that. And that all comes down to pricing. You really have to dig into your pricing and have a very, very detailed, conversation with yourself or an analytical conversation, I guess, about every single product and service you offer to really look at what are the profit margins for each and every single product, and not just the gross margin. Again, people focus on gross margin entirely too much, in my opinion. Gross margin, just real quick, is your sales, subtracting your cost of goods sold, but it doesn't include all your other expenses, your overhead, your admin, your rent, your insurance, your marketing, all those other things are not included in that. So it only shows you part of the picture. I'm talking about net margin. Net margin. Net margin is what ends up in your pocket at the end of the day, right? After you have sales and you have all these expenses, what ends up in your pocket at the end of the day? That is what your net margin is. That net income divided by your total sales. That is your percentage-wise, your net margin. That's what you need to focus on. So that was the the first three, numbers 12, 11, and 10 of the top 12 of 22. We're going to get into these other 9 during the next 2 segments. We're going to come back after the break. We're going to break here. We're going to give the Mr. Biz tip of the week. We're going to dive back into this message. But I had mentioned before, we have a new streaming channel called Mr. Biz Network. You can find it on all these streaming platforms. On Binge TV, go on Binge TV and you can find Mr. Biz Network, or you can go out to MrBizNetwork.com. Watch, we've got 15 plus hours of content already out there with more to come. We'll see you after the break on Mr. Biz Radio.
Business owners have a continually growing to-do list with little time for revenue-producing activities. With Check Off Your List and their experienced team of virtual assistants, you can focus on growing your business. Visit checkoffyourlist.com to learn how Check Off Your List's skilled team can handle your day-to-day tasks like social media, bookkeeping, calendar maintenance, and much more. Contact Check Off Your List at checkoffyourlist.com or call 888-262-1249 to see how their virtual assistants can help you live to work rather than work to live.
Thank you for listening to Mr. Biz Radio. Did you know our show airs 7 days a week for more than 30 hours now? If you are in the B2B space and would like to reach thousands of business owners every week, including our more than 250,000 social media followers, our thousands of daily internet radio listeners, our email list fans, and Mr. Biz Solutions members, email us at info@MrBizSolutions.com to become a sponsor. Tap into Mr. Biz Nation to help grow your business.
Check out both of Mr. Biz's national best-selling books, Pathway to Profits and How to Be a Cash Flow Pro on Amazon. Now, once again, here's Mr. Biz.
All right, welcome back to the show, Mr. Biz Radio, and it's time for Mr. Biz Tip of the Week. And those who've been watching during the break, the video during the break here, if you're not listening, if you're watching the video, not just watching or listening to the audio, I had a little bit of a chuckle because I looked down to see what this week's Mr. Biz Tip of the Week is. And again, I say this all the time. This is absolute coincidence. I did not plan it this way. So I just talked to you about, the third top 12 of 22 I shared was about silencing the silent business killer, right? Getting rid of it. And I talked about margins. Well, this week's Mr. Biz Tip of the Week is how can you make more money with less sales? Think about that. Seems counterintuitive, right? You make more money with less sales. Sounds crazy, right? The answer, mind your margins. That's literally what I just talked about. And again, very coincidental. We set out these tips. I promise you, we set out these tips for each of the 52 weeks of the year. We share one tip a week. We set them out at the beginning of the year. As a matter of fact, we just started, obviously this year, so we've got them all laid out. So it ends up being very coincidental oftentimes that the topic we're talking about or the guests we have ends up being very analogous to the tip that week. So anyway, that's Mr. Biz Tip of the Week. Let's get back into the top 12 for 22. So we've shared 3 so far. Number 4, or number 12, 11, 10, 9, I guess, as we're counting them down. This is a simple one. This is a personal one. This will help your personal life and your business life. You ready for this one? Not going to expect this, I don't think. Smile more. Smile more. Research shows that when you smile, it opens you up to opportunities, that puts people at ease. It makes you magnetic. I know that sounds a little bit cheesy, but think about it. Even when you're walking down a hallway in a building, you're walking down the street, and you look up and a stranger's walking towards you and they smile at you. Think about what automatically your mindset towards that person. It could be someone who looks completely different than you. It could be a 7-foot guy that has, purple hair and earrings and tattoos and all kind of crazy stuff that maybe looks different than you, but he smiles at you and has a genuine, warm smile. Think about how that changes your mindset towards that person. Smile more. When you greet people, smile, right? It's so, so important. I'm telling you, it sounds so cheesy, but I heard this less than a year ago. I heard someone speak, and I can't remember who it was. I wish I could have given them credit. And I tried it, and I'm telling you, try this. Smile at people, and you will see a noticeable difference on how you are received by someone, especially someone who is new, that you don't know, et cetera. But really, really important. So that is number 9. Number 8, as we're counting these down, on the top 12 of 22, focus on getting attention for your company, for your business, for your brand. As some of you heard me say before on the show, Grant Cardone is a champion of this, right? As any of you follow him know this, but he talks about the best known beats the best product or service every time. And the one example I can give, and there's a bunch of them, but the one example that I'm sure will hit home with people and resonate is McDonald's, right? Is McDonald's super popular and they're ubiquitous, right? Everywhere you go, every street corner seems like there's a McDonald's. You can't throw a dart without hitting McDonald's. Well, is it because they have the best food? Is it because, well, they might have the best fries. Okay, I'll give them that. They have really good fries. But it's not because, oh my gosh, they have the best hamburgers in the world, right? They're everywhere and they're the best known. And so that's a super important thing. Focus on getting attention. Grant Cardone, and this kind of changed my mindset on this. He said, you grow up and your parents always tell you, be humble and all that stuff. And not saying not to be humble, but he said that, your parents say, don't toot your own horn. And his thing is, then who's going to toot it? Why have a horn if you can't toot your horn, right? And again, it's not about being braggadocious or anything, but don't be afraid to get attention. One of the ways I do that is through Mr. Biz Radio. It's through now our streaming channel, Mr. Biz Network. I do a lot of videos with our YouTube channel, Mr. Biz. All these different things are ways to get attention. Again, it's not about bragging about yourself or anything like that, but don't be afraid to get attention for your brand. It's super important. If someone 5 states away from you is someone that you could help, or you have a product that you can help them with, but they don't know who the heck you are, you'll never be able to help them. So think about that. Focus on ways to get attention for you and your brand. All right. The next one, it's an important one here. Solo equals no-go. All right. So this one took a while for me to get over as well. Brandon Dawson shared this with me. And at first I'm like, yeah. What he means by that, what I mean by that, I guess, and relaying it, is that those of you out there are trying to bootstrap. I understand that you're trying to DIY things in your business. You're a solopreneur. You're trying to do everything. You cannot scale with that. It doesn't matter what you're doing. You cannot scale on your own. If you want to scale and build a business and build a bigger business, you need people, whether that means administrative staff, whether that simply means to start hiring a virtual assistant to help you with a lot of the administrative tasks so you can focus on some of the bigger things that your expertise is in. And frankly, to free you up from things that you probably don't enjoy doing anyway. So think about that. Solo equals no-go. Think about ways to expand your business with additional resources. And again, I don't mean necessarily even hiring an employee. Again, you can have a virtual assistant that's obviously part-time contractor. You can hire someone to do your website work, right? You could hire someone to help you with, you do videos, video editing. Producer Alan is a form, he works with me and he produces this show. I come in and do the show. Producer Alan does all the hard work. Like I show up and talk, right? A bunch of hot air. He does all the hard work in making this the way it is. So that's another example, but solo equals no-go. Do not do that. Number 7, I could have made this number 1, but I wanted to say this. And actually, I guess I'm counting them backwards, but 7 out of 12. And we're counting them up. And number 12 actually is kind of number 1. But anyway, number 7 is take action. Take action. Gary Vaynerchuk, Gary V talks about this all the time. He said, ideas are crap. He didn't say crap. Ideas are crap. It's all about execution. And this goes back to some of the other tips I've already shared with you in the top 12 for 22, in that don't be afraid to fail. Start with yes. Say yes to opportunities. You have to do that. And along the way, you're going to fail, as we mentioned, but you got to take action. And just like ironically enough, I didn't even think about it at the time, but when I started the outset of the show and I said, look, this is the first time we're in the studio here. We still got some kinks to work out, got some bugs, but progress, not perfection. That is an example of that. I got here, things were not the way I was expecting them to be. I had some bumps in the road that I'd already set up. We'd already got figured out. I get here and somehow I got out of whack, right? And I thought about, oh crap, I'll go back to my home office where I've recorded the show from before and I'll do it from there. No, progress, not perfection. I'm going to take action. We'll figure it out. We'll learn from this. We'll work out some of the lighting kinks and, audio, microphone, all that kind of stuff. We'll figure that stuff out, but you got to take action. Don't be afraid to take action. You're not going to get where you want to go without taking action, right? You don't shrink your way to success. You have to be able to take action, not just have great ideas. I'm going to try to squeeze one in here. We only have about a minute, but I wanted to squeeze one more in so I can just have 4 for the last segment, but lead with curiosity. And when you're curious, you're open to new ideas. It goes back to number 1 with saying yes to opportunities, but it's closely related. But lead your people with that curiosity. When someone on your team comes to you with an idea, the first thing you should do is ask more clarifying questions. That's showing curiosity. That shows them as well that you value their opinion and their ideas. And that's part of that saying yes to opportunities and not instantly being like, we're not going to do that. We've never done that before. Don't do that. That's crap. That's not going to get you where you want to go. All right. So that's lead with curiosity. So we have 4 left in the top 12 for 22 to ensure that you have success and you have a kick-ass 2022. So come back after the break and we will share the top 4 of the top 12 of 22.
Are you ready to automate your business? Automation is the key to scaling a business and building wealth. It's also one of the most difficult things for a small business owner to do on their own. If you're looking for help with automation, Pulse Technology CRM can help. We have an exclusive offer for Mr. Biz Nation. We will build everything for free, even if it's a sophisticated funnel. Visit thepulsespot.com/Mr. Biz for this exclusive offer.
If If you find listening to Mr. Biz Radio is helpful, imagine having live access to not only Mr. Biz, but also 5 other trusted business experts. It's true. You can have live access to your very own CFO, plus a business attorney, a website and digital marketing expert, a sales and growth guru, a financing professional, and a customer experience master. Visit MrBizSolutions.com to learn more. Join Mr. Biz Nation at MrBizSolutions.com.
To submit questions to the show, email them to info@MrBizSolutions.com. Now, once again, here's Mr. Biz.
All right, welcome back to the show. And we are down to the final four on the top 12 of 2022 to help you make 2022 your best year ever. And so I want to dig into these. We've got about 9 minutes here to cover these 4, and they're super, super important. So I want to dive into these. This one is business related, financial related. You may have guessed this one was coming at some point if you've listened to the show at all before. And it's one of my 3 pillars of financial success for businesses. And that is, you need to create a budget. Matter of fact, since we're already a few weeks into 2022 at this point, you should have already had a budget in place. You should have been working on that in November, December of last year. Some people wait until they have the final, information and final numbers for the prior year, and they work on their budget in January. But critically important to get that done and try to get it done by, late January. So that way you can start tracking right away, right? So your January versus the budget. And what I find is when people wait too long to create a budget, sometimes they do that because they are faking the funk. And what I mean by that is they delay their budget, and next thing you know, it's middle of February, and they go, well, I already know what my January actuals were, so I'm going to make my budget what my actuals were. Now, and they might do the same in February. That's 2/12 of the year. That's 1/6 of the year. Forget that, right? You're losing the impact of a budget and a goal-oriented budget. And like I talked about before, a budget is not, a lot of people think of a budget as like a diet. It's not. If you're in growth mode, a budget will be built to grow your business, right? When I build a financial budget for a business, we start with what's the sales goal or the revenue goal for the year. We start with that, and then we back down from there. How much we want to reinvest back in the business. And so don't think of a budget as a limiting thing. Think of a budget as a tool to help you get you towards your goals. So if you have a goal, a certain goal, for sales or revenue in a year, you're monitoring that each and every single month. So and I'm just using revenue as an example. You need to track everything and track against everything every year. But using revenue as a goal, you get through the end of February and you've got 2 months of actuals. Now you can compare, and you need to do this every single month, but you need to compare versus that where your budget is for the first 2 months. Are you ahead or are you behind? Where are you ahead, right? Maybe you have 10 products and 6 of them are ahead of budget and 4 of them are behind. Why are the ones behind? Why are the ones ahead? Are there some things that you can learn from the ones you're ahead of budget and ahead on sales, and apply those to the ones that you're behind, right? Hey, we use this strategy for these 2 products and it worked really well. Let's take these 2 that are lagging and try to, apply that same strategy. That's one of the examples it gives you. The other thing is it tells you when you're behind or ahead. So man, we need to step on the gas pedal with X, Y, and Z. Maybe it's if you have a sales team, you want to emphasize, maybe one of the products you're behind in is one of your higher margin products. Well, that's not good, right? So maybe you want to say, maybe you offer for the next quarter, you offer a sales incentive, an additional sales incentive, or a sales contest related to, 1 or 2 of your higher margin products that might be lagging. That's an example where budget is super powerful and helps you get back on track, not only from, meeting budget, but for your profitability as well. So that's number 4. Number 3, only 3 to go. Write down your goals daily. So not only do you create the goals, you need to write those bad boys down every day. So let me give you a couple stats. I wanted to write these down so I didn't mess them up. So Harvard Business School did this study. 83% of people don't even set goals. I was floored by that. I don't know. I can't even imagine. I can't imagine. They don't set goals at all, like nothing. 14% of people set goals, but only in their head. All right. So they've done something, which is good. However, get this, that 14% of people, they are 10 times more likely to achieve their goals than the 83% that didn't set any goals. 10 times. Take it a step further. We have 3% left, right? 3% set goals and they write them down. Only 3% of people. Mind's blown. I don't understand that. Those people are 3 times more likely than the 14% that set them but in their head, and which means they're 30 times more likely to achieve than the people who don't set goals at all. People, if this doesn't tell you to set goals and write them down. And when I say write them down daily, I got a prop. Look at this. I use this bad boy. Look, it fits in my pocket, right? Very convenient. But I literally come in and twice a day, sometimes 3 times a day, I will write down my goals. And I try to keep them simple. So I'll write down, I have 3 goals. And these are big goals. And I write them down at least twice a day, in the morning and in the evening. Sometimes if I'm having a crappy day and I need to refocus, I'm unmotivated or something, I'll do it in the middle of the day as well. Write them down. Exactly the same every single time. Write them down. It gives you a constant reminder of what you're working towards, get you back on track. I'm telling you. And these things are, I don't know what this thing is, like 75 cents or something. I have like 20. I use these all the time. Super powerful. Write them down every single day. All right, we've got 2 to go. And we got about 3.5 minutes. All right, we're going to do this. Number 2 on the top 12 of 22 is to invest in yourself. I'm going to challenge you right now. And there's a lot of different forms of investing in yourself. I don't mean go out, I guess it could mean that. I don't mean go out and buy, a new dress or a new suit or whatever. That could be part of it if you need to spiff up your wardrobe a little bit to feel good about how you look and things like that and build your confidence. But people focus too much on, oh my gosh, for example, man, that book's $30. When I buy books and I read a ton of books and I listen to a ton of books, I don't focus on a $30 cost. I could get one idea out of that book that's worth $10,000, $100,000, $1 million. Who knows? I don't focus on the $30, right? And I pick them, I choose them carefully. I don't read just anything. Make sure they're recommended. I take from people who tell me like, oh my gosh, you got to check out this book, et cetera. Might be an author I know, but invest in yourself. Find a conference. Find a speaker that you like and invest in yourself. Right now, go out and find one of those for the remainder of the year. Book it. Invest in yourself. That is the highest ROI investment you can ever make, investing in yourself. That's why it's number 2. So what is number 1? What is number 1? All right. Number 1 on the top 12 of 22 is to give daily. I don't mean money. It doesn't have to be money. Matter of fact, I just had this, and this is what prompted me to have this. I want to read this, and I don't want to mess it up. Let me see if I can get this a little bigger here. All right, so give. Giving opens up the doors to receiving. You have so many opportunities to give every day. So this is an example, not just money. Give kind words. Give a smile. Talked about smiling earlier. Give appreciation and love. Give compliments. You can give courtesy to other motorists while you're driving. Instead of getting pissed off that someone pulled out in front of you, hey, you know what? Maybe that guy's in a hurry. You've probably been in a hurry and done that before yourself. Give a little bit of grace. You can give a smile to a car parking attendant. You can give a warm greeting to a newspaper stand person or the person who makes your coffee. You can give by allowing a stranger to go ahead of you into an elevator, and you can give by asking which floor they're going to and pressing the button for them. Easy giving. Do this. I'm telling you, it's so powerful. If someone drops something, you can give a helping hand and pick it up for them. You can give warm embraces to those you love, and you can give appreciation and encouragement to everyone. There are so many opportunities for you to give, and thereby opening the door to receiving. This is so powerful. I'm telling you right now, here's when it's the most powerful for me and what I found. It's most powerful when I'm having an absolute crap day. When I start doing things like that, and I'm very purposeful about it, the intangible feelings that you get back for giving to someone and showing that gratitude and showing appreciation, I'm telling you, it is well worth it. That is why it is number 1 on the top 12 for 22. If you follow those, you are going to have an amazing 2022. DM me, send me some notes. I want to know which ones you found the most powerful, which ones you are committed to following, and how you're going to follow them, like to invest in yourself. Tell me the conference you're going to go to. Go to the 10X Growth Con. I'll be there. Mr. Biz is going to be there in March down in Miami. But you have to do that. So that is top 12 for 22. Appreciate you guys listening. Thanks as always. Again, go check out Mr. Biz Network. You go on streaming apps and find Binge TV. And then within that, you can find the Mr. Biz Network. You can go to MrBizNetwork.com. Our YouTube channel, Mr. Biz. Follow us on social media all over the place. Really appreciate you guys watching, listening, whatever you might be doing, how you're consuming this content. And as always, don't forget, cash flow is king.
This has been Mr. Biz Radio. To learn how to become part of Mr. Biz Nation, visit MrBizSolutions.com. For access to free weekly content, subscribe to the Mr. Biz YouTube channel and follow him on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Twitter. To listen to archive shows, you can find them on the Mr. Biz Solutions website.